What up, guys? About to go meet up my buddy here, Brandon. Owns a company called Riverside Payments. But anyways, long story short, he also owns like a creative agency marketing firm. But anyways, he's got a podcast that he wants me to be on. So I think it's going to be some good value, good content for you guys. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy it.
Good.
This is Johnny. Johnny's Sim.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Sam.
to meet you. Trying to figure out, well, what does she want? What does she want? What does she want? And then I'm like, dude, they don't even know what they want. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta know what you want. You gotta, really have a good understanding of that, and you can't change someone else either. At the same time, I know we've had that conversation before a little bit, but you can't control someone. You can't make them like you or make you, have the same, long-term goal or vision of life or anything like that. From kids to money to, what you're gonna do in life for fun, etc., etc. The list goes on. You just gotta focus on being you and being true to you and just being real, and then you're gonna eventually find that person that
100%.
will come along and you guys are gonna hit it off. And usually that's how it always happens. It's the kind of the cliche thing, when you're not looking for someone. That's usually when you find that person that you're meant to be with. So
yeah, I was just talking to one of my buddies. He's the client that was I'm trying to refer to dealership guy, and he was telling me we were talking the last couple weeks, and he was telling me how his wife. I don't know. I think they've been together 10, 11 years. Mm-hmm. How his wife, he's if it wasn't for her, when I was starting, I would probably be working at a fucking Walmart, because he's there's so many times I wanted to quit. Yeah. But she surprisingly, she was the one that was telling me to keep going, right?
Yeah.
Which is super interesting, because that's goes to show the importance of, hey, it's really damn important to make sure you have good people in your corner regardless.
Oh yeah.
Which is super interesting, because I've had people in my life that I've known for a week or a month, and they influenced me more, and they pushed me more, and they supported me more than people that have been in my life 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
I just think that's really interesting. Then I started going backwards, and then I started turning things around in terms of dude, if this person's been in my life 4 or 5 years and they're not supportive, why do I want to keep them
why
around?
are you trying to? Sometimes you gotta lose a friend or cut someone out of your circle, especially if they're always trying to bring you down. And that's one of the big things that I always talk about, especially here, is you gotta surround yourself with positivity and those like-minded people. And my wife is a great example of that.
Yeah.
We've been together for over 7 years now, and through the highs and the lows, she's obviously there to celebrate on the highs, which everybody is.
Yeah.
But then when you go through those struggles, who's there for you during that time? When you're having your off day, when you're having that bad week or month or year even,
Yeah.
You got to make sure you have those people that are there to build you up and help you through that, because especially your wife or someone that you're with, that's how you're going to know that it's someone that is really truly cares about you, if they're going to be there for you and constantly pick you up during those hard times. And without that, you're going to have a much harder battle at becoming the next successful entrepreneur out there. And they all talk about it, from the Elon Musk to Richard Branson to anybody out there. That's one of the big things. Surround yourself. Gary Vee, he always talks about cut one friend and make sure whoever you hang out with, your five closest people. That's who you're going to become.
Exactly.
Because you're always influenced one way or another by the people around you.
Yep. And the funny thing is, I used to be the type of person that was oh man, I have this vision and goal where I want to go, right?
Yeah.
But then I used to be the type of person that's all right, this is how it maps out, da da da. And then if it didn't go according to plan, it was kind of I failed. Yeah. But now I've learned to it's super interesting. People are oh, how long are you gonna be in New York? Because I'm moving to New York. And I was are you gonna be there a year and a half, then come back, or what do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was dude, I could be there 3 months and then some crazy shit happens, and I'm dude, I'm staying. Then I'd be there a year, or then I'm I love it here. There's stuff going on that I'm we started from nothing. You know what I mean?
Your plan's always evolving and improving.
Exactly.
Depending on the opportunities that are presented to you or that you make for yourself.
100%. So I'm always telling people the same thing. Oh, how'd you know what you want to do, or how'd you get involved? I was dude, I was like, when I was sleeping on my buddy's couch and he was teaching me how to code, like, dude, I had no fucking idea. Like, zero. I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like the little task at hand. I was like, dude, it'd be cool to get a job and make all this money. But it was kind of like, all right, the next task at hand is like, learn this much information. Apply for a job, pass the interview, and then kill it at the job. And then like eventually like things are gonna start coming, right? I was telling him, one of my buddies, is like, dude, you can't be focused on like, it's good to have that big goal, but dude, you got to think about how many little steps are you gonna have to take to get there, right?
Exactly. You take that big goal or that big vision that you have and you reverse engineer it, right? So you got to focus on, that's there to motivate you and inspire you. But each day you got to focus on the little task at hand, like you said. Because, so many people can get lost in the past and the mistakes they've made, or what's happened to them. Or they can get caught up on I should be here, I should have done this, I should have done that, I want to be Mark Cuban, I want to be, Elon Musk, and, because they're not there, in a week or two, they're like, oh, I'm a failure, I can't do it, right?
Or, I quit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is worse.
It takes, repeated efforts on focusing on those daily tasks.
Smoking on the daily. That's
but yeah, that's where the focus has got to go and, be at the task at hand and just little steps. You inch your way forward and then next thing you know, you're all the way at the top, but it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah. And that's the kind of the thing I'm like, I don't know if I'm more like obsessing over it or like falling in love with it, lack of a better term, is like, oh man, there's like, I've noticed like the more patience I have, the more shit actually happens. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, for me, I'm like, oh, I want things right then and there. Like I want this meeting to go down tomorrow. Like, why are we in here today? The person just walked by the hall. You know what I mean? Then I realized like, all right, there's a time and place for everything, right? There's like a process, and then I've noticed like now that I've like, because I was like it was like a gift and a curse at the same time. So I learned to use like one of my best traits is also one of my weaknesses. My strongest weakness, I think, is like go talk to that person and then like verbally throw up on them because you're like in the hallway and you're like, dude, not listen. You know what I mean? But now I've realized that's a good strength in some situations, but it's also my strongest weakness. So it's super interesting. I think a lot of people like, that's a prime example. Even my experience, like, having patience to go talk to somebody and doing it the right way, as opposed to like, I want to go for the home run right off the bat. And it's your first time at bat, right?
Really the story and the transition of, even though I started and founded a company and things were going good, it just really wasn't what I wanted, and it wasn't at the level. I had this huge lofty goal, and just really telling people and informing them that kind of a little bit with mindset of you can be better than you think you can, and you can really think like you're a kid and really make it happen. And you have to be a little bit practical with it. Obviously, if you're 5'7" like myself, you're not going to be in the NBA. As much as I love basketball, I mean, I know that's not real, right?
No. But if you're 6'3", and you weren't that good, you developed a skill. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You can always put your mind to it, and you can do it. But with whatever you love and whatever your strengths are, focus on your strengths. Triple down on your strengths. And for me, developing, simplifying problems, developing a system, and then developing that team atmosphere from sports and a culture is something that I've always been really good at, and kind of stumbled into figuring out that's what I was great at. To go along with sales, and just kind of laying that down, just kind of telling the story of how, if you believe in yourself and you can set lofty goals, you can really do anything. Especially if you surround yourself with the right people, put other people in a position to succeed after you put yourself in that position to succeed.
100%.
Because if you can't succeed, no one else around you is going to succeed either. So just kind of laying that blueprint. Never reach it even higher. Hold it up. See? You can reach higher, right? So that's one of the things that I learned, and it really holds true to goal setting and business and everything in life, that you need to push yourself, and then you need to push yourself a little bit more. Or like the New England Patriots, I know you're a big fan of them. When they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, they fell a little short this year, but 2 years ago, their mantra and their saying was one more, right? And in business and life, you can always do one more rep, one more hour, one more phone call, one more door you got to knock on, right? And that's what you got to do. You always got to do that one extra, because that's what separates the good from the great. No one's here to be average, and if you believe in yourself, you can be great if you put in that little bit of extra work.
I love that picture of, when they're running suicides.
And
they're like, and the dude stops like a foot short, or like a foot, like this much. And then they're like the difference between being good and being great. And then the dude that goes like, like his whole foot's on the line.
Yeah.
You know, when they're running suicide.
Absolutely.
And I think that's hella funny because it's kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
That picture always sticks in my mind too.
Yeah.
Even when I was younger, like, dude, at first I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I used to play basketball like in middle school, and then make us run the suicides. I'm like, dude, this sucks. And then the coach every time would tell me, dude, you're not touching your foot on the line. You're not touching your foot on the line. Then I look around at the next time we went down. I remember this. I was like, dude, nobody else is touching it either.
Yeah.
And then I won't forget it. He pulls me to the side. And he's like, just because everybody else isn't doing it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Yeah.
And like that's how you're gonna become good. Like you're gonna push yourself that little effort. He's like, that little effort today is going to be a little effort you put in somewhere else, and then it builds this.
After a year, it's 365.
It builds this discipline. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
So like now, it's like, dude, I can't even do. Like if I see my brother doing something half-assed, like I'm like, dude, just spend an extra 25 seconds and do it the right way. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because it all adds up. You know.
Just got out of the podcast session with my buddy Brandon. Make sure you go subscribe to his iTunes podcast. I'll put the link in the bio. Super successful. Spit a lot of good fire, a lot of good content for you guys. Sorry my camera cut out. Put it on the tripod. After 30 minutes of recording, it cuts off and it tries to transition to another clip, so you'd have to hit record again. So couldn't get the whole thing in there, but got most of it. If you want to hear the whole thing, subscribe and listen to his podcast. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully this brings a lot of value to somebody.